Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh. Welcome to another stupendous game of StarCraft 2. This one is being played between mouz.ThorZaIN. He is the red Terran down here in the bottom left corner of Tal'Darim Altar, and his opponent today is going to be the blue Zerg down in the bottom right. It is his friend and teammate mouz.MorroW. Both of these guys are originally from Sweden. Both of them are on Mouse Sports. I have to imagine that they've played a million billion games against each other in practice and in various tournaments, so they should be very familiar with each other's play styles. And MorroW has a little bit of an interesting fact about him. He likes to play Zerg versus Terran and versus Protoss, but is really bad at ZVZ. He said this himself. He does not like that matchup at all, so he actually plays Terran against Zerg opponents. He is one of the very few pro players who will actually play two different races in a single tournament. I'm actually struggling to think of any other player that does this. Last Shadow, actually, for a little while, did the same sort of thing where he did Zerg as a main race and Terran only against Zerg opponents. So I think MorroW and Last Shadow might be the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head that do that. TLO, I believe, for a little while race picked as well when he was really into random. He would pick his matchups, but it was always between Terran and Zerg as well. I don't think anyone actually dual races with Protoss, now that I think about it. That's kind of interesting just to think about. So anyway, we've got a little bit of stuff happening here. We've got ThorZaIN walling off this choke between the main and the natural. That's going to prevent any early sneaky attacks from MorroW. MorroW has been saving up lots of minerals so far. It looks like he is going to go hatch first here at his natural. He doesn't really have much to worry about from ThorZaIN. I'm not really expecting to see a bunker rush or anything like that anytime soon. I'm really curious to see if MorroW is going to throw up that spawning pool next, or if he goes for an extractor somewhere around here. But ThorZaIN lets the drone get into his base. ThorZaIN has not done any scouting of his own just yet, so MorroW is going to be a little bit ahead on information at least. ThorZaIN does manage to drop that supply depot though and trap that drone inside. The drone is going to try and score this SCV kill as long as he's here, but the SCV actually looks like he found a sweet spot where the drone can't hit him anymore. Lucky for ThorZaIN. That's going to give him enough time for this Marine to pop out and take care of business. Oh, he needs to get that SCV out of there. One more hit from the drone will kill it off, but the hero Marine saves the day. ThorZaIN will return to repair that supply depot all the way up to full. Looks like MorroW did get the extractor down first, then the spawning pool, so he's going to have some gas available to start working toward that Zergling speed upgrade as soon as this pool is finished. ThorZaIN, on the other hand, has dropped a factory. I'm a little bit sick, so you may hear a second or two throughout this cast where I have to mute the mic and do a little bit of a sniffle, but I won't be able to get through this whole game probably without doing that, so I apologize in advance if I go silent for a second or two, but sometimes I just have to sniff a little bit. Okay, so that factory is going up. We've got the command center coming for ThorZaIN now. It looks like a reactor is coming up on the barracks, so Hellions are a very, very high possibility. He still doesn't really have a ton of gas. I think this is the first gas that he's harvested at all. Oh no, sorry, he had to have enough to build the factory and the reactor, of course, so he is mining gas happily with just one, now two SCVs, not a full three. That's kind of interesting, putting a heavy emphasis on that mineral harvesting so they can squeeze out a lot of Hellions in this early game, and Marines. Tech Lab coming up now on his barracks, and the command center will be floating over to the natural sometime soon. Second refinery going up now for ThorZaIN, and back over in MorroW's neck of the woods, he still has not put up a second extractor at his main or a first one over at his natural. He does have two queens out already though, and it looks like he wants to start spreading creep tumors as soon as he possibly can. He has not dropped a tumor between his two bases yet. That's something I do like to see out of Zerg players, connecting that base as soon as you can, just in case these Marines and Hellions, oh no, in case these Marines and Hellions do actually try to do some damage. He puts the creep tumors on the high ground, and I'll explain that a little bit in a second. We'll see if ThorZaIN actually tries to go in for an attack here. He might actually be able to kill a queen if he's careful and does some nice micro, but now a third queen has popped out, and MorroW's got 14 Zerglings on the way. Alright, so these creep tumors here on the high ground, this means that once this creep spreads around on the low ground, he can just basically skip a tumor. Instead of going the logical, like, linear path down the ramp here, he can just wait for the creep to spread all the way around and drop them on the low ground like you see here. So he basically just accelerated how fast his creep was going to spread. Oh, it looks like the Hellions did snag some tasty Zerglings there in the middle. Sorry I missed that, but these creep tumors are just so interesting. Anyway, Instead of spending another 1, even 2, maybe even a third creep tumor, he just drops them immediately on the low ground, and now he can just spread from there. So that's a great tactic. He canceled those creep tumors. I'm not sure why, actually. But, oh, maybe because the 4 Hellions are there. Duh. So the 4 Hellions, had they gone over in time, they would have actually killed both of those creep tumors while they're still spawning. And mouz doesn't want that, so he actually moves down his queens a little bit onto the low ground. He's got his lings in position. They do already have their Zergling speed. It looks like mouz's comfortable now, and just droning up, getting his lair up at his main so he can start doing some additional tech. I still only see 1 extractor out of mouz, which is kind of interesting. He also sent 1 speedling along to try and do some scouting, but ThorZaIN is too quick for that. ThorZaIN's still working off of just 2 extractors. mouz gonna try and be sneaky around the top side here. I'm taking ThorZaIN's vision just for a second to see if he is gonna catch a glimpse of the blue on his minimap, pull the 4 Hellions back, and he will be prepared to chase off those lings unless mouz decides to commit, which I think would be a big mistake. 2 more refineries coming up now at the natural for ThorZaIN. He's squeezed out his first tank. Yes, he squeezed it out there. There's a second one coming now. Upgrades. It looks like he's got his stim pack on the way. Has not got combat shields just yet, but he's making lots of Marines and lots of tanks. Very, very common tactic here for Terran versus Zerg, basically on any map. mouz going to start working on those destructible rocks at his 3rd so he can expand. He is getting a macro hatchery here after his natural is fully saturated, so he can have lots and lots of larvae to work with. He's also throwing up a spire now that his lair is done, and that evo chamber, as well as a baneling nest. So mutiling baneling, we've got marine tank on the other side for the Terran player. Both of these strategies very, very common. It's going to come down to who can control their units the best. mouz's creep tumors finally getting spread a little bit. It looks like he's going to move his queens all the way out to the front line just to spread it even faster, but ThorZaIN with full control of this Xel'Naga tower is not going to let that happen. Of course, he's going to move around the top side here, drop a scan, and manage to kill 2 creep tumors, maybe even, oh yes, he does snag all 4, and a queen goes down. The Hellions are so fast that the Zerglings cannot keep up off of the creep, and the Marines score a nice queen kill on the back side there. Very, very good pickup there for ThorZaIN. ThorZaIN also sneaking a Marine over to this 3rd base area for mouz, making sure he won't be able to drop a hatchery there. Of course, mouz is aware of this with his lovely overlord. Just hit spacebar for some reason and saw that that structure was complete, so now you know. ThorZaIN does have a supply depot finished. It's very, very exciting stuff. mouz is getting up his 3rd mining base now. He has full extractors now going for those mutilisks. As soon as the spire finishes, I'm sure he'll start cranking them out. Ling's actually getting a little bit adventurous, but ThorZaIN already has a couple of siege tanks in place. 3 kills there on that first tank. I don't think mouz managed to snag any kills there. Let's look at units lost. Yeah, completely in ThorZaIN's favor at this point in the game. 16 units killed against only 4 for mouz. So if ThorZaIN keeps getting the better of these engagements, that will eventually add up. He can keep winning these little wars of attrition and eventually have this big splash damage army that he's looking for. The mass siege tanks and all these Marines on the ground with upgrades will be able to deal with mutilisks once they start to pop out. And it looks like we've got 6 on the way right now. Lots of speedlings on the ground. mouz soon going to be able to combine all his forces, and he's already got the baneling nest. Baneling speed's going to be done soon. Melee attacks level 1 are on the way, as well as flyer attacks level 1. We've got another hatch, it looks like. Oh no, that's just that 3rd base still about to finish. We've got an armory coming up for ThorZaIN, so mech upgrades are going to be possible, as well as Thors to help deal with those mutilisks if he chooses to do that. It can be very, very efficient to just continue building Marines to deal with those mutilisks, as long as he can stem them efficiently, get up some medevacs out, and protect all those Marines that are also protecting the siege tanks. We've got +1/+1 coming now for ThorZaIN out of double engineering base. A couple of mules dropping there, spending that energy now that he's got his 3rd base up and running. mouz looking to take a 4th mining base up here on the right side of the map. Mutilisks moving in to start doing some damage on these siege tanks. Free tank pickup there for mouz. He's got to be happy with that. No turrets in the natural mineral line. ThorZaIN realizes his mistake a little bit and builds 2 turrets immediately, running those Marines up there to try and shoo away those pesky, pesky mutilisks, but mouz has to be happy with that little pickup that he just got. Did he snag any worker kills? Yes, he did get 1, so nice good trade there for mouz. ThorZaIN sitting at 127 supply, mouz at 149. mouz is, of course, a little bit ahead, but he is macroing up like crazy. 99 drones, can that be right already? Let's look at income. 99 harvesters against 64. That's actually a little bit insane. You can see just maybe not even really a difference between gas income and not much of a difference in minerals either, as ThorZaIN has all those mules at his disposal. But geez, 99 drones and still basically even on income. That is just a huge difference. Take a look at that. I mean, think about it. 20 of your supply, no, 30, excuse me, 30 of your supply is tied up in extra workers, and your income is still just barely trickling in ahead of your opponent. That's crazy. 38 Lings on the way now, 7 Mutalisks, Burrow being researched, plus 2 melee attacks, plus 1 Carapace there. I can't imagine MorroW is going to wait too much longer before building some Banelings and trying to do what I call the Zerg Shredder maneuver. Basically, you have all these tanks sieged up for a Terran player. They have to keep their Marines nearby, so you have all the forces of... Oh, whoa! Looks like ThorZaIN's on the move, killing more creep tumors. He does not want that creep all the way to extend into his natural, but as I was saying, the Zerg Shredder starts as one big force, shreds through the Terran, and ends up with maybe a handful of units left over, but I like to call that the Zerg Shredder with Mutiling, Baneling. They start on one side, sweep all the way through, and basically either the Shredder jams and a Thor remains, or the Shredder does its business and kills everything. So MorroW trying to be sneaky here. That's a lot of burrowed Banelings, actually. I wonder if ThorZaIN is going to be wary of that. He does not see it. They are burrowing just outside of his vision range, so MorroW could actually be able to do a lot of damage with these little Baneling landmines. The Hellions are... Oh no, the Hellions were actually in range to be blown up, but ThorZaIN dropped a preliminary scan there. He was worried about it. He actually manages to kill a ton of these burrowed Banelings. Too bad for MorroW. He was probably hoping that those would deal quite a lot of damage. He's now down in supply for the first time in the game. ThorZaIN has 195 against MorroW's 189, and it looks like ThorZaIN is gearing up for a drop, so we'll go ahead and put that in the picture-in-picture while we watch this main force continue to move on. And he is just dropping scans, killing creep tumors very efficiently. Like I said, he does not want the creep to reach his front door. MorroW looks like he's struggling a little bit to try and position his army, while ThorZaIN's Marines are out in front. They're going to get caught by a ton of Banelings and Lings, and in the back, more Banelings, even more Banelings, and lots of Mutalisks are going to be able to take out all these tanks, or at least a few of them. ThorZaIN actually losing all his forces in the front and a lot of the forces in the back leaves MorroW with a 20 supply advantage. That drop, we didn't even need picture-in-picture because it hadn't even started doing anything yet. Looks like he is going to try and gun down some drones. No, he's going to actually go for the infestation pit right away and actually easily be able to kill that. No spine crawlers in position, no Lings there to stop that from happening. So ThorZaIN just picks up the infestation pit kill. Now he can just continue to move on. Actually, he's out of the range of the spine crawlers for the Evo chamber, so he's going to get a great kill there as well. Luckily for MorroW, he was not upgrading anything at the time, but looks like we have more action back on the field of battle. All these siege tanks, oh no, there's nothing there to defend them from all these speedlings, and MorroW looks like he's going to shred right through all those Marines that remain there for ThorZaIN. They're continuing to rally into the middle of the map. He realizes his mistake, and I think these Lings are going to be able to kill everything here on the map for ThorZaIN. MorroW taking a huge advantage now of about 30 supply, and that drop finally got cleaned up there at MorroW's main. Lots and lots of damage from those speedlings. I can't believe how big of a swing that was when MorroW was not maxed. ThorZaIN was maxed. He was strung all along that field of battle, though. Oh, a Thor actually getting taken out just naked there. That's got to hurt ThorZaIN as well. So perhaps just a mismanaged error there. ThorZaIN may not have been paying attention to that Thor, but he went down without much of a fight. And check this out. This is very gutsy from ThorZaIN. He's going to build a planetary fortress right here in MorroW's vision range. But really, there's not a whole lot MorroW can do about it right now, especially if he reinforces that with some turrets sometime soon. There's no SCVs. Ah, here's a single SCV coming over to help do some mining. But if he built some turrets around here, even Mutalisks wouldn't really be able to take this very easily. So ThorZaIN is going to have a little outpost right next to MorroW's main area, very close to his natural, actually. And MorroW is just going to continue to expand up the right side, probably along the top as his next course of action. Let's look at the income tab now. We've got 88 drones for MorroW, 71 SCVs for ThorZaIN. Income still appears to be favoring ThorZaIN a little bit in minerals, but MorroW a little bit in that Vespene gas income. ThorZaIN perhaps looking to do some more drops here soon. He is actually working on Ghost tech right now and getting another command center to eventually take this base above his main, I believe. All he has to do is send some Marines around, yeah, to try and chase off these overlords, get that creep out of the way so he can build. Lots of brave Zerglings running in now from MorroW. He's going to try and make it all the way into the main, but ThorZaIN catches that supply depot down just in time. These Lings are going to actually flee from the upgraded Marines and the siege tanks. ThorZaIN has slowly worked his way up to 3-3. He is dropping Marines all over the place to try and clear out these overlords and such so that he can eventually expand. Actually, it looks like he's not doing a whole lot. He's going to try and go all the way over to this top base. Did he scan and see this base? No, he hasn't, but he's just going to go ahead and assume that MorroW has some hidden bases somewhere. It looks like another drop didn't quite pan out for ThorZaIN, and this Marine is most likely going to be killed. Yep, there he is by some infested Terrans. So ThorZaIN with a kind of small push here, ill-advised, as these fungal growths are actually going to kill pretty much everything in this bunch. ThorZaIN, I think, would be really surprised if he actually continues this assault. He did land all his Marines on the ground here just outside of MorroW's 5th base, I believe, but oh, these Marines are going to get caught out in the open by some Lings. All these ones on the top here are going to get butchered, and the mutas will clean up any remnants there. ThorZaIN dropping this top base. Looks like he did clear out some drones, but MorroW did manage to pull some away as well. This hatch is going to go down without a fight. We do have Broodlords all over the map now, though, for MorroW, and lots of Infestors hitting the field. We've got melee attacks level 3 coming along, Adrenal Glands coming along soon. He may even build an Ultralisk Cavern. That hatch does go down, and ThorZaIN will just pick up and continue on to the next one. This one does have some Spinecrawler defenses, though, luckily for MorroW. And MorroW's going to start making his first push across now with 9 Broodlords and a handful of Infestors on the ground. The Speedlings there to soak up some damage. They are going to loop all the way around. Oh, ThorZaIN actually has some ghosts on the field now, trying to drop some EMPs, actually manages to miss all of the Infestors. Tank gets taken out with ease, and ThorZaIN is going to go try to do some base trading scenarios. It looks like he's still running up the map with a bunch of Marines trying to clear out those overlords so he can expand. Finally, he looks like he is about to drop there, but there is a Zergling on the ground, burrowed, that he cannot get rid of. There are some ghosts being attacked now by Broodlords. You can see them kind of mixed in there, being killed off by just Zerglings. That's got to be a painful thing to see. Your ghosts being taken out by Zerglings, but we do have a lot of Broodlords in the sky here. Corruptors showing up to try and defend against these Vikings. We've got Lings and infested Terrans all over the place, just pouring in damage. Broodlings as well, doing as much damage as they possibly can with those 3-2 upgrades, and these Broodlords are going to be very difficult for ThorZaIN to stop. 42 Zerglings coming now, only 4 Ghosts coming now for ThorZaIN, and I don't know what he's going to be able to do. Ghosts are actually great against this combination. If he can drop EMPs all over the Infestors and snipe all of these Broodlords, he may have a chance, but he is unable to actually even continue taking out hatcheries. It looks like he did manage to snag this one, but MorroW just breaking into his main now. All the production facilities are starting to be hammered down by these Broodlords and Infestors. Here is the last bastion of hope for ThorZaIN. He's got 7 Ghosts just sniping away. You can hear that sound effect going off over and over again, but big fungal growths landing on the medevacs. These Ghosts are actually handling any Zerglings that happen to come nearby, but this is basically an army that can just keep replenishing itself as long as these Infestors have energy and as long as these Broodlords can keep shooting those Broodlings onto the ground. You see those Marines getting taken out very quickly, but the medevac and Ghost combination actually going to be enough here for ThorZaIN to take out all these Broodlords and Infestors. MorroW does have a 65 supply advantage, and he is actually assaulting this planetary fortress with nothing but Zerglings. That's something you don't see very often, but fungal growth goes down on the repairing SCVs, and the planetary fortress can only take so much damage before going down. ThorZaIN is in shambles right now. His economy's got to be next to nothing. Only 25 Harvesters now against MorroW's 64. You can see the drastic change from what we saw earlier there. And Infestors only coming out now for MorroW. Look at this squad of Ghosts. We have 11 Ghosts moving around here. It looks like he wants to move out. I'm not sure what kind of damage he's going to be able to do with 4 medevacs, 5 medevacs, and 11 Ghosts. But of course they do drill right through those Lings. 26 damage a shot against light targets. That's a ton of damage against all those Lings. It looks like ThorZaIN is maybe misrallied a little bit. He's got a Marine way up in the top right of the map for no reason. But Baneling starting more for MorroW now. 145 supply against 75. You don't need me to tell you that he is at a massive, massive advantage right now, even with only a couple of mining bases. MorroW's just far ahead in that Harvester count. Look at that 0 gas income for ThorZaIN right now. He's got to focus everything on repairing these orbital commands back up. He's got no mineral income here at the main, very little mineral income going on at this base, and these Lings can basically just run right in here, take out these Marines. And is he even going to bother taking out the Marines? Yes, he is. he is going to take out the Marines. This is actually going to work as a diversion, it looks like, as ThorZaIN is actually going to send everything he's got to come over here and try to take care of these lings. He cannot do any mining, so look at this. All of his ghosts are very, very out of place, and MorroW, realizing this, is going to send all his Zerglings, Banelings, and a huge squad of Infestors over to ThorZaIN's main. Once again, all these SCVs getting caught out in the open, and kaboom! There go all those SCVs. ThorZaIN down to just 6 Harvesters. This game is over, and ThorZaIN knows it. Good game, well played from mouz.ThorZaIN to mouz.MorroW. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to try and get back into a routine of casting some StarCraft 2 games. Maybe not a whole series every day, but we'll ease back into it, and we'll get some more content for you guys in the near future. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you'll continue to watch everything that goes up on AskJoshy, and I'll see you very soon with more stuff. To be trapped basically and killed, so MC will need to be careful with these stalkers if they do engage. And it looks like MC is setting up for a defense at the perfect time. MVP's moving right in there, so we'll see how this micro battle goes between our two players.